What's up, y'all? I look hard. This is my first video on this account, CLARENCE 302 at gmail.com. I ain't been on here in 11 months, almost a year, because I be on my other account because they be YouTube is like they don't, they want you to say certain things. They want you to say things the way they want you to say them. And if you don't say them the way they want you to say them, then what they do is they'll shut you, they suspend you for a week, and then they put strikes on your channels and all that kind of stuff. So they 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 talk about freedom of speech, but you restricted from it. So this is my first video in 11 months, almost a year. One more month, it's been a year. So I'm looking awfully terrible right now because I just got as you can see, still in the bed. I mean, I'm laying on top. I'm just sitting on top of the bed. Like, yeah, yeah, that's a mess. That's a mess. I don't want to show that too much, but y'all get the point. I'm in the room. I haven't went in there and did nothing. Took a bath. Did nothing. You know, I ain't brushed my teeth. Well, I ain't got to say all that. I ain't got to say all that. That's crazy. Say all that. But y'all get the point. hmm So I cleaned it off. I'm gonna have to do a double like scan on this thing. So, well, since I ain't been over on here in a while, I just let it go a couple of minutes. It's been 11 months. Thing about it, when you don't know how to use the accounts, you have to like recreate the password, all that stuff. And then they want you to use the passwords they want to use. That's to me, that's kind of crazy. I think if you buying a computer or if you're doing whatever, I think you should be able to control whatever it is that you do. Because it's just like my family, a couple of my family members were saying, we was in a conversation about it months ago and probably a couple of years ago. If you can't control what you do on YouTube and they control everything and you got to create a password that they want you to create, obviously you don't own it. It still ain't yours. That's an indication you ain't got no control over that. So who own that? The so-called white man. They own all that. So you still don't own it because they tell you that's like if I buy a car and he come up, drive it and say, now I'm gonna go where I wanna go and I'm gonna go where I wanna go and you're gonna go where I want you to go. Well, I need to go here. How is it yours? It's not yours. I mean, it's an indication clearly that the next person have control of it. So even though you bought it, you don't own it. And that's how it is with they need change that up. But in other words, you still don't own it. That's my point. You paying for something for somebody else to control you and tell you what you should and should not have. Yeah, that it's amazing. It's just amazing how they can have things all backwards, man. Everything is totally the opposite and backwards. Anything that looks too much like right, they ain't gonna go. They not gonna go for that. They go for everything that they feel that's bad. Like everything that's good for you. It's like in this society they gonna reverse it. You see what I'm saying? Everything is reversed. But the powers that be, white privileges or whatever, they can get on here and say whatever they want to say. They don't have to worry about having their channels or none of that really more than likely shut down because guess what? If they own it and they say something, the only people that they can shut down is themselves. They have the power is to themselves up. They have the power is to take themselves down. You see what I'm saying? So if they get on here, the powers that be, the so-called white man, they get on here and say whatever it is that they want to say, there it's really it ain't gonna be no repercussion. You see what I'm saying? It's not gonna be no repercussion because they control it. You see what I'm saying? It ain't no such thing as them overspending credit cards and stuff. Like you know how some people have like credit cards and stuff, and if you say, "Damn, I didn't spend," like if you spend over 50 cent, 50 cent, 50 cent now, they gonna make you pay more back than what you spent actually. I had that happen to me a couple of years ago, back in 2018, probably about 4 years ago. I had to pay like 33, 34 some dollars back. You know what I'm saying? Because they said, "Oh, you used this here and you didn't tell us, you didn't report what you was making and all that kind of stuff." So therefore, end up paying more back than what I spent. You know what I'm saying? So if a white person, if they spend money, if they spend that type of money, there's not going to be no repercussion. They can get up in one day and go and spend $10,000 in one day. The next day, it won't hurt them because it's going right back into their because they forefathers own everything. They'll be, oh, you covered, don't worry about it. Because it's gonna be a good beneficial interest for them. It's gonna draw them interest. The more they spend, the better it's gonna help them, you know. If we spend, we gonna be probably 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years trying to pay $500 back. Because that's how they got it set up like that against the so-called black man like myself, like a man of color. You know what I'm saying? A man of color. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how you look as a person of color. When they look at you, they see you as a black person. You see what I'm saying? That's how they see you. You know, in this society, it ain't gonna be well. Like for example, police. Now, I guess I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit. If a black man, a so-called black man like myself, walking on the streets, they not gonna sit there and ask you what everything that you mix with. No, they're not gonna do that because it happened to me. They just said, got on their speaker and said, "We got a black male here, this and that and the third." They didn't see and ask you what you mix with. Now they'll ask you where you from. You see what I'm saying? So I guess that's kind of getting to the point when they find out you from a certain island and scan your name and find if you're from somewhere like England and you're a real British Irish person or something like that, then Irish and British that's still part of them because they every landmass that they went to, Christopher Columbus conquered. They went and laid their seed everywhere. You know they did that. So I'm not. I guess it seems like I'm kind of going off what I'm saying, but more than likely they're not going to be going through all of the different several this and that and the third and what all you mix with this and that. No, they just gonna say you're black. That's how they go. So they're like this. Let me sum it up for you, so you won't get this misconstrued, nigga. Let me sum it up for you and make it easy for you. Your ass is black. Yeah, that's it. Now, if you satisfied, that's it. Okay then. Now, make sure we get that understood. But anyway, yeah, you spend more money if you spend a credit card or whatever. You're going to actually spend. If you spend, it'll hurt us because we live in the hood. I do. You know, I don't see nobody else who doesn't look like me living in this neighborhood. I see more people. Everybody here look like me living in this neighborhood and not all the other nations. You see what I'm saying? So more than likely, the ones who look like me is struggling more versus the people who look the opposite of me, if y'all know what I'm talking about. But if they spend $10,000 in a bank in one day, like today, within a couple of hours, probably the next day, they banks are calling, "Oh, you good? We covered you. We got your back up today." Don't worry about it. I ain't studying about truth. They just worried about lies, and they don't care nothing about breakdowns. They don't care because that's not part of them, you know. Um, Anything that looks too much like right, like to say, okay, we're gonna make peace here, and we're gonna pray, we're gonna do this here, and we're gonna make sure that we have a good, healthy family. Then America come along and say, no, we're gonna have we're gonna promote all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Crazy stuff, whatever, you know. So anything that looks too much like right, if it's the right way, America is the so-called America is gonna be the opposite. They're gonna be the opposite of everything that's fair. That's how it works. So I'm gonna see y'all later, and we'll talk later. Um, I look crazy, you know. I ain't took a bath, I ain't did nothing, no nothing. But I'm gonna go and do it. So I'll see y'all later. I'm ending this video at 10:12 a.m.